got to go to breakfast with a friend, which was awesome. And now we're just getting our 30 minutes in real quick. And then probably going to go do some writing and, yeah, do some chilling. I was able to give away one of my books as a gift to the friend I went to breakfast with. So that was good. I've just been kind of thinking about like how there's really no level of value you can put on a person that is really just cherishing the spirit God gave them and isn't like wasting their time and stuff like that. Is just kind of being intentional with life and isn't trying to force life to do anything that would be unnatural for life to do. Um, you know, like it's not natural to have these endless dopamine like experiences. You're going to have a crash at some point. It's not natural to have, you could just fill in the blank over and over again, have endless flows of money or whatever. It's good to have money and it's good to have these things going and you can have a good flow of life, but you're probably like not gonna be able to have an endless flow of money. Like you click the button and you get money. It doesn't really quite work that way. But yeah, had a good breakfast, had a good sleep last night, which is awesome. And yeah, going out of town with the family tomorrow, which will be awesome as well. And just doing a good job of just kind of chilling, and we're just kind of giving it time. But we are at a cemetery today because I haven't been here on a live stream, but I thought it would be useful to kind of show you this is where we're all headed ultimately. We believe in life after this, however, at least I do. However, there's also the physical going into the grave where you don't take any of your money with you. You don't take the house. You don't take the Smash Bros system. You don't take any of that stuff with you. You leave that stuff behind. Somebody else claims it. Perhaps you have a will or whatever, but you leave it behind. For some of us, that day is closer. For some of us, it's farther away. For me, I hope it's a pretty good amount away. I hope it's at least 60 or so years away. But the reality is that I don't really know. And the important thing is that I'm seeking to live in alignment with what I need to be doing with my precious gift of time. So a very simple example, if you're in a classroom learning a subject, probably what you ought to be doing when you're in that classroom is actually learning that subject. So you're ready for the test. In life, we are ultimately being tested. We're also learning a lot of other things, but ultimately we're being tested. See if we will trust God and believe that He can do things in our lives and provide in a physical experience, which we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So that is a lot of what we're being tested on. We're being tested to walk by faith and not necessarily by sight. And yeah, ultimately, that situation leads to physical death, which Jesus Christ has already overcame. However, yeah, this is it's going to happen. So it's important to be aware. It's important to be aware. It's important to be thoughtful and mindful as you go about your life. Okay, well, like, what do I really want to do with this time? What do I really want to build and grow with this time? A lot of things, they take time to grow, so you're gonna need to factor that timeline in there. Some things, they don't grow because they don't get enough time to grow. And ultimately here on earth, you're gonna get like 80 or 90 years if you're really living healthy and That's just how things work out. There's some people that they go beyond the laws of physics and whatnot. That happens. But usually people are very susceptible to life and its many hazards. There's a lot of things that could trip you up when you're older. Old age, of course. Cancer, etc., etc. So, it really comes down to seeking to be living a life that your spirit can continue to grow and be enabled to do great things in your physical body while you're here. Obviously, this isn't a very warm topic, but it's something I wanted to kind of address, especially since I'm here today. Was walking by, I was like, hey, well, let's kind of highlight this real quick. It's important to remember that this is not something you can escape or avoid. Manuel, what's up, dude? Good to see you again. It's like that is it. So you can wish it away, but the time is gonna fly by regardless of how you spend it. So I've been looking a lot at this past year at like, okay, well, I got to work for my friend's startup for a while. I got to do a lot of writing. However, I did spend a lot of time sort of submitting myself to others' lower expectations of me, thinking I would shoot lower, and kind of submitting to that and living underneath my privileges. I am in America, yes. Someday I'll answer that question in the not. I'll be somewhere else. However, today we're in America at a good old cemetery to think about life and where we're at. Yeah, good morning to you too. It's been a good day. I got to go to breakfast with a friend. We're kind of getting this out the door and then head back home and just get some cleaning done. And it's a little crazy. In the last 24 hours, I found out that my landlord was saying that I still owed him money, which is scary because I thought I was good. And I don't really have a job anymore. I got let go harmoniously from the startup I was working for. Perhaps they could hire me again in the future, but for now we're let go harmoniously. They're planning for a launch and stuff, and ultimately they felt like that'd be best for me, and so there you go. You got to be intentional with your resources, especially your time. They have a goal of doing this big launch, but to do that you got to make sure you're using your resources well, and a lot of that's time, a lot of that's energy. If you're talking to one person, you can't be talking to another person. This is something that narcissists and people of that nature won't really consider. It's like, well, there's a lot of people in this world and they all can help you in different ways. And so, just because you want to talk to somebody doesn't mean they want to talk to you. It doesn't necessarily mean that would be a good thing for them. So you have to really respect that. You have to really respect that, So overall, it's a good day. I woke up. I've been on a good streak with sleeping well, which has been huge. So huge. I did some writing last night until I was just way tired, and so I put my laptop down and I was out. But I was okay with that. So it's like we're blessed. Let's live in the blessing. Let's be grateful. And I'll also go into this a little bit. It's like, if you feel you're in that good place, you're just rocking and rolling with God, where it talks about in Isaiah 26:3 about he who has his mind continually on God has perfect peace, all that other stuff. Like, there's no price on that. There's people in jail or out of jail that are still trying to let go of the guilt for what they did. And some of that stuff takes a long time. So if you're at that place where, like, all right, we're good, then that's priceless. There's people that are willing to pay a lot of money to feel at that place. I feel like I'm there right now. But it's definitely humbling, and you have to say, you got to sacrifice some things. You got to sacrifice some fears and stuff like that, and just accepting like God has this figured out, so I don't have to know the answer to some of these questions. Just sort of being me, and it will work out. And that is a lot of faith. It's talked about in the book Leaders Eat Last from Simon Sinek about how it's very important to sacrifice some of those personal wants and desires when you are in this leadership role, because if you got a lion or whatever for the family or the tribe, you cannot afford to take all that for yourself, because what got you that status was the ability to give for the benefit of everybody else. That's a lot of what the alpha does. So it's interesting too, because you could be in this really high role and then it could be taken away from you. You have to go, no worries, dude. Good seeing you. Hope you have a good one. And you just never really know. So you just got to enjoy the time you have, and not waste any of it. And that's tough. I mean, it takes time to get to that point of understanding a lot of these things that are kind of a waste to the day, things that waste away the day, and those things that kind of make the day feel better. And then to intentionally, put those things there for you. But once you can start to figure that out, life can really be in this better spiritual alignment. It may not make much sense to other people, but it's, you're starting to understand, like, well, this is why I'm here. This has to be a part of why I'm here. And you get the time to work things out, to build up on things before you end up, buried for the next generation to learn from your mistakes and to be benefited by the legacy you left. I think a lot of my life right now is blazing a trail, not just for future Dallin and such, but also for future family members and other things. Who knows? Maybe 40 years from now, I could have a grandkid who's doing a very similar thing as what I'm doing right now. You never know. So, yeah, what's up, Hey Goo? What's up? Good to see you. We're just getting our 30 minutes in today. That's it. We're not overthinking it. There's some new video from Alex Hormozy, which was great, and I was watching a little bit of that, and I was like, cool. But I'm like, no, ultimately, like, this is one of my priorities, is to get the 30 minutes in on here, regardless of what happens. And we're just, there's gonna be highs and lows. Like yesterday, the stream got 7 new subscribers. That was great. Like, for like 30, 50 minutes, 40-ish minutes, like, that's pretty good. That's pretty solid. But some days it can be more low-key and chill, and that's okay. But what this does is it gives me the opportunity to riff about what's on my mind, so I can go back to it in the future. And it also helps seeing your growth, because depending on what you're talking about at the time shows kind of where your heart's at, where you'd like to be. And especially when you can speak of these things without much like unbridled emotion behind them, because you're just kind of speaking them matter-of-factedly. You're just kind of chilling. And that's kind of where we're at now. It's like, yeah, I recognize that things could certainly be better, but at the same time, I'm in this pretty good alignment right now. Certainly financially, it could be better. Certainly, I could be a lot better in these other ways, but right now at home, I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job of enjoying the time and not throwing it away and trying to make the most of it, because sooner than later, I'll be back in Utah and we'll have these videos and it'll be fun, but I won't be able to repeat it and do it over. So, I mean, in a very small way, you could think of like, you could think of this cemetery right here as like 2024. 2024 is done and over with. We're finishing up 2025 right now. And then, soon enough, then 2025 will also be in this way where it's, you can't do anything about it. So, I don't know. It's really interesting because sometimes I want to do something because it feels like what I need to do. And that's not always the best choice. It's not always the best thing, because sometimes I may be just zeroing in on something just because it's worked in the past, or because I think something, or I'm having this thought over and over again and it's hard to let it go. But yeah, at the end of the day, you have to seek to live in line with those principles. It's talked about in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Like, let's try to be living this principle-based life and centered life, instead of one where you have these other things like your work is at the center of your life, or your relationships are the center of your life. You want to live this principle-based life, because sometimes you'd really like to spend more time with family, but maybe you got to do something else because that's just what you got to do. It's what the season is asking of you. Had you done better earlier, you wouldn't have to do that. Work is necessary, whether it's homework or whatever. Obviously, homework is, that's another question. But the idea is that if you're doing meaningful work, you're making the path easier for future you, not only to like live and succeed, but also to reach new breakthroughs. See, there's breakthroughs I'd like to have, but I haven't gone deep enough in my life to get them. And that's that other humbling part. It's like for every hour that you're diving into that thing, you're getting to new places. But if you're not actually going there enough, you're not going enough to that place, it's going to be difficult for you to break past that level you're at. It's the same thing with running, excuse me. If you do a lot of running, but then you sort of stop and you're not doing as much as you could be doing and ought to be doing to get to your goals, well, you're going to find that you're not really growing as much, having those PRs as much, and it might get a little unsatisfying, and that's frustrating. What's up, Sebastian and NZ? What's up? Hope you guys are good. We're just walking around and thinking about life and cherishing it. For me, I find that me speaking, doing these 30-minute live streams each day, it's helpful. It's helpful, and I was actually reading from one of my journals I was looking at last year around this time, and I really was humbled to read, hey, I just got to work more. Hey, I just got to let go and not worry about the girl thing. Hey, I just got to do these, the lessons are all there. I don't have to really overthink it. It's like a lot of the answers are back in time. You can learn a lot from looking back at some of these past feelings and experiences. And some things are just not supposed to happen yet. And so you have peace when you're living in that alignment and you're not trying to force anything. You're just there. I think I had some moments in this year where I was really in that place where I was just grateful and aligned and joyful. And a lot of those were when I was working on something. When I was working on something that would further my career or help me with my writing or whatever, there's that connection. So there's something beautiful with that. Yeah, that's kind of what we got for today, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to be awake. It's good to have energy. I definitely have that today. That's good. And gotta see if I can sell off some books or something like that to pay for the part of the rent that apparently hasn't been paid yet. And that's the challenge of today. And then really try to think more ahead of where do I want to be? I think I think I do good about thinking this way, but then not so much sometimes about putting it into practice. Like, okay, if you want to be at this amount of money, you can do that. However, it's going to require you being this consistent at this level. And if you don't, like, you're going to miss out. Like, you're not going to hit those targets that you wanted to hit. That's just, it's not because of any other reason except you missing out on those days. Like, it goes back to the thing about the learning. Like, to get to a certain level of learning, to get to that certain thing, like, you have to go to a certain level. I mean, it's just like Pokemon. Like, if you don't train your Pokemon to a certain level, like, you're just going to get clapped and you're just going to get hurt. And when you get to the gym, you're just not going to get that badge because you haven't done the lessons. You haven't put in the work that's needed to elevate, to get to that higher level. Maru, what's up? Do I play Fortnite? I've actually never played Fortnite. I'd be open to trying it someday, though. It's just one of those things. I feel like if I tried it, I'd probably get sucked into it. But I know a lot of the lingo. I've watched my cousins play Fortnite before and stuff. There's the circle. It's constantly shrinking. You have to stay in the circle. Survival, all that stuff. Yeah, I have ADHD, so I've kind of learned, like, we got to be very careful with my energy and especially my dopamine receptors, like what works and what doesn't work, and making sure I'm not frying those for no reason. You were here last stream? Yeah, of course I remember you, Maru. It's good to see you again. We talked about footballing and other stuff. I hope the rest of your day was good. Yeah, full send meme 67. There you go. Yep. You got a little shout out for when I don't know, probably 50 years from now. I don't know, we'll see how long I last, but the channel will probably still be around by then, and who knows, it could be a lot bigger than it is now. I intend to continue to do this, and some live streams are obviously going to rise more to the top, so that's how that goes. Yeah, no worries, you asked for it, and there you go. Yeah, this is a cemetery. Yep. I was just kind of like, you know what? Let's just kind of look around and consider it. Yeah, you have to go. No worries, dude. I wish you all the best. Yep, it's humbling when you can look at life, and I mean, we can just look at one of these. This one with the flowers. I mean, each of these people have stories. There's tons of memories. They had, you know, something they gave and contributed to the world while they were here. There's something really beautiful about it. So, our children, Rachel, Audrey, Ian. And then on this side, there we go. Andrew, David. Oh, this is pretty recent. Yeah. There you go. So the mom is still alive. So, yeah. That's humbling when you have to bury a half of the family, but yeah, she continues on, and looks like they're married in the temple, and I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, so it's a temple. But yeah, it's humbling, dude. I mean, it's humbling to look back and have memories of when these people walked the earth, and now they don't. Well, rather, I believe their spirits are alive, of course, but, you know, we don't really know a ton about that. Andrew David, rest in peace. Yep. I don't know. It makes me think about, like, high school, right? Like, you could see the records that person set. It's like, hey, this person set this record back in 1985, but they're not. But their time in high school is done. You have this nice little window of time to really put in the work and become something. And that's why there's something really powerful about those people that really do get to that level. They're able to put their egos to the side and train and train and train. There's something beautiful about that, because a lot of people, they don't get that far, and we remember that. And then, of course, yeah, they go on to college. Maybe they play in college, or maybe they go to the NBA or the NFL or whatever the thing is. And a lot of people obviously don't make it that far. So it really just goes to show, I mean, life, there's something really beautiful about it when you're here, when you're in the moment, when you're in that season, when you're in that spot. And certain things, they are really only for a season. There's those verses in Ecclesiastes 3 about to everything there is a season, time to every purpose under the heaven. And then it goes on, time to be born, time to die, time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to plant, time to gather stones, time to scatter the stones and not keep them together. There's all these different parts that we go through in life, and so it's humbling to look at it. I'm in this sort of building up and preparing for future fatherhood and stuff season, but I won't forever. This is just temporary. Going to church after the stream. No. After the stream, I'm probably going to go see a friend. Maybe go get some food or something. Yeah. We'll see. We'll kind of see. I mean, it's sort of humbling. Like, I really don't have a ton of time left of being here in North Carolina before I fly back home, or fly back to where I'm living in Utah. So I'm trying to like really maximize return on my time and put myself in a position that God could do some miracle or whatever. I was talking about it with a friend actually at breakfast. It's like, God could show up in some big way. He could open this door. However, if you're not willing to receive it, if you're not willing to walk in it and go after it, you could completely miss it. That's tough. I don't know any of these people. It was just a random cemetery. But there's something about this, you know? A lot of these people, it happened early. They weren't expecting it to happen, and it did. So it really comes back to the just trying to do what you can, doing well at those things you can do well at, and those things that you've committed to being your best at, like really doing that. For me, with my writing, I really want to give everything I can. With this, to a certain degree, I want to, be fully here when I'm here. And then that helps more people to experience the full grace and power of that thing. So like Ephesians 4:29 says, how let no corrupt communication proceed forth out of your mouth, but that which is to the use of edifying, that may minister grace unto the hearer. So we ought to use language that is edifying, and we ought to send those words out. I do that with my newsletter. We ought to do that, to lift up and be there. I'm 29. Yeah. Early in the game. I've learned a good amount. Still in the 20s, so there's still things I'd like to do before we enter the 30s. But yeah, I feel like there's plenty of time for things to compound. As long as I don't do anything royally stupid, I think we'll be just fine. I mean, a lot of the mistakes I've made this year were really just laziness and foolishness, and yeah, making space for things that wasn't meant to make space for. But ultimately, this is just very, 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 very temporary, very, very, very short season. Like, blink and you'll miss it. So that's why I try to be pretty good about documenting these things, knowing it is very much a temporary thing. But yeah, like it's sort of like what I was saying yesterday, Maru and everybody else that's here. It's like there's value in considering what would I do if this was my last day here. I mean, we're at the cemetery today with a lot of these people. I mean, they weren't thinking, I mean, if we just pull up to another random one that has yeah, there we go. This one has a scripture on it. Just a sec. Yeah, we got Darren Little Gary, April 22nd, 1969, September 13th, 2024. This is also last year. Philippians 1:3. I'm saying the nice way possible, you look 40. That's funny. No, I appreciate it. That's funny. I definitely do need to shave the beard, so I think that's the first time I've been told I look 40. That is some funny stuff. But he wasn't expecting when he woke up on September 13th, 2024 that was it. That's not what he was thinking. He's probably thinking he was going to live longer. I don't know, maybe he was fighting cancer or something, but most of the time, a lot of the time you don't really know. Oh, look, this one's way recent. Okay, well, it's more recent. It's the most recent one we've seen, February 13th, 2025. That's pretty recent. So, yeah, that's it. So, yeah, there you go. Timing. You just never know. You just never, ever know. So we gotta enjoy the time that we have while we're here. Seek to live in that spiritual alignment. And sometimes it just means letting things go. Sometimes it means not texting that person back. Sometimes that means just letting things be because you already tried multiple times trying to make something happen. And it's not happening, so you just gotta let it go. Be grateful for all the good times you've had with that person, and you just kind of let it be. So yeah, that's kind of it. Kind of more of a somber stream, but I mean, that I don't know how you could have that, not have that in a cemetery. So yeah, it really just makes you think. Every single one of these people, they have family members that miss them. There you go. No worries, Maru. I'm probably finishing up here soon anyway, so, but I appreciate it. It's good seeing you again. I mean, that is a lot of how this is going to become anything, is I obviously have to do better with my long form uploads, but then of course having people interacting in stream helps more people to find it, etc. So I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll probably walk a little bit longer. I think a lot of it comes back to being kinder to yourself than you would think you'd be. Being more patient, more hardworking, more kind than you think you might be. Because whenever you're doing stuff, you're kind of setting a pattern for your future self in a way. So it's important to try to be kinder to yourself than you might feel. So, but yeah, no, I mean, it's very humbling, but I mean, we got tomorrow I'll be with family, Wednesday I'll be with family, Thursday I'll be with family, Friday I'll be with family, Saturday I'll be with family, and still seek to do these, because it would be a real miss to not do that. And we keep the streak going. I think it's like day 8 or 9 of doing these every day. And then, then there's a couple more days, and I'm flying back to Utah. 2026, right around the corner. So there's multiple things. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work out, but you show up and you do what you got to do. You be there. Then you can see the growth. You can see a lot of these things happen. You can literally witness it with your own eyes. then there's something really beautiful about that. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what other blessings and mercies are there. It says it in Psalm 23 about how God will put a table in the midst of your enemies. So I'm excited, looking forward to what might be ahead. Here's another Bible verse for you. We'll probably end it off here. Inasmuch as you've done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, you've done it unto me. Matthew 25:40. Yep. So that is the... Yeah, so... God cherish the light, the joy, the energy. Don't take any of these things for granted. Don't take the divinity in your soul for granted. And seek to make these years count. Seek to make the most of them. Enjoy the journey while you're here. So, yeah, I think that's basically that. But it's one day at a time, you know. One day at a time. We never really know what will be coming about, but we'll have new experiences to put us on a new path, new direction. So yeah, that's that. I think of 1 Timothy 4:12, like, let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers in word and conversation and faith and charity and word and purity, all that stuff. So yeah, that's it. So we'll just enjoy the time we've been given. Seek to not take any of it for granted or to waste it, and to just be mindful. Last little bit, I've really been good about sleeping and stuff like that. So we'll just keep it going. What's up, Emmanuel? Good to see you again. Yep. So just got to make time for the simple things. Enjoy the journey as it unfolds. So yeah, some seasons are a lot more plentiful than other seasons. So it's important to try to be kind to yourself as the vessel, as the tree, or whatever you want to call it. Because you might have a season that's much bigger and much more plentiful and much better harvest than the one you're currently experiencing. So you have to make sure you're not hating on yourself. We're just walking. Yeah, we're just walking. Yeah, I think we're going to complete this lap, and then we'll close this up. So, but thanks for being here. Thanks for the encouragement and everything. I hope this was in some way useful or educational or something. And yeah, end of the day, we're just going to keep walking. Seek to be in that spiritual alignment. Enjoy the time with God. Continue to have fun. Learn from the adventure we're on. And that is the way to joy, really. I mean, it's just to be present, the here and now, not wishing for anything else. Like, you can go and open yourself up to other people, but doesn't mean you're going to get treated the way you'd like to be treated. So you need to have some discernment with that, and ultimately give all these things to God. And there you go. So that is a lot of how this goes. 9 more days until 2026. That's crazy. That is crazy. Yep. We're running out of time. So And then we'll be out of 2025, and 2025 will be just a memory. So, I mean, it's just like, I think we'll do one more lap, but it's just kind of like, you got to remember, because like you go through different seasons, right? Hot and cold, and spring, summer, winter, fall, all that. And you go through highs and lows of those things. Just like any marriage or any business or anything like that, you have seasons of more plenty than others. And a lot of it is to remain optimistic and remain faithful to the cause and to what you want to do with it during those less great months. And if you can do that, then you can have the greater stuff. But if you're not willing to do that, then it's probably not going to last. So yeah, there's a real power, there's a staying power with the perseverance and the just willing to be there even though sometimes things aren't going super great. So I really want to get in a good streak of doing 10,000 steps every day. I think my record is 43 days. So I think we're around, well, I know I did yesterday, so we'd be on, say it would be day 2 of walking 10,000 steps or moving 10,000 steps every day. I really find that my brain works very well with streaks of different kinds, and then wanting to keep those going just for the sake of keeping it going. So there's power in that. You want to be mindful of your brain and do well with that. But yeah, I think that's about it. I think that's where we're closing this up. So thanks for hopping in with me on this morning. Going to keep on trucking along, moving along, pack for tomorrow and get some other things done. But ultimately just leaving it in God's care, and yeah, trying to be intentional and patient. So that's what I got for you. Thanks for watching. Let's continue to be patient and trust that spiritual alignment, not forcing anything, one day at a time. So yeah, take a good look. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. You're not going to escape it. So enjoy the life you have. Enjoy the time. Enjoy the season. And seek to do as much good as you can while you're here. Seek to, be willing to sacrifice things for a greater good and all that good stuff. So I think that's all. But thanks for watching. And I think I've said that like 5 times. But yeah, take care. Bye-bye. See you next time.